renovation addition is the batch, where we're gonna house these kids. You know, these costs, I mean, is that being taken into consideration, or can it be?
You mean in the event that...
In the event that we have to house the school population at the batch elder anyways?
This doesn't take into account
Factor
any of
into
that.
So that's on the side.
Yes.
This is simply to get us through the next couple of years.
This is the
of work.
bridge, yes, without taking into account any relocation.
This is the
of
bridge
batch
till,
elders.
well, we estimate 2004, whatever plan that the town decides to go
Yes.
forward with. So that will be a separate,
Yes.
separate issue.
Yeah.
And just along those lines, in theory, if the town doesn't come up with a resolution, then more of this piecemeal patchwork presumably has to be done.
Yes.
It just seems obvious. I don't mean to put anyone on the spot, it just seems
Yes.
clear.
Septic system, we just have to talk about, additional
Yes.
site improvements.
Absolutely.
The
You know, you
modulars,
wanna-
the modulars that are currently sitting on the batch are not plumbed. There is no water in it. If they were to be moved to the hood and used as part of a centralized kindergarten, they would be, in addition to the fact that they need refurbishing anyway, now, in their 5th year of use, they don't last forever. They would have to be plumbed because it's required to have bathrooms in kindergarten classrooms. So,
In every
when we talk
classroom.
about cost of moving and refurbishing, $100,000 on, a set of classrooms is not unreasonable.
If the portables are to stay where they are, and we grant the approval for this mid-range plan, do we still believe that they need refurbishing, and how extensive, if we leave them where they are?
The interior is...
In general.
Yes, they're going to need on the interior, they're going to need some work.
A lot?
I wouldn't
It's
say a
not a
lot,
lot.
no. I would, at this
Carpeting.
point, 5 years, they're in their 5th year. The carpet is beginning to show some signs of wear. Given the age of the bachelor and the wear on that school, we're not rushing out to put new carpeting in those facilities. There is concern that there has been occasional leaking. Remember, these units come together. They come in pieces. So where they're joined, there have been some leaks that can be controlled, require some level of maintenance. However, as they age, some of the problems that you have will be problems in the interior portions of the partitions. You will begin to develop mildew. I know the town of Andover, North Andover, recently shut down some modular classrooms that had been used, again, because of the deterioration in air quality. So they're not ventilated as you would a regular structure. So eventually you have moisture problems, this leads to mold and mildew, this leads to air quality issues, and then you have the general maintenance that has to occur. When you take these things down and you pull them apart, you're taking them apart and then you're reassembling them on new foundation pillars. New site work has to be done. They need to be rejoined. They're going to be rejoined probably, for a centralized kindergarten, in an entirely different configuration. This means new hallways, the exit doors from each one of these needs to be done, and the lawns at the batch are currently heated by propane. At a centralized kindergarten, the solution probably would be still to heat them by propane units. We would try to plumb them into the main septic system, but again, the only potential site on the hood school for the 8 classrooms under this scenario would be removed from the main part of the building. Most likely either on the parking lot as you come down the hood school driveway to the right, or we would work with the town to acquire access to that small parcel that was recently acquired by the town on the left of the driveway. It's approximately 32,000 square feet, somewhat less than an acre, might be partially adequate to begin to situate 4 modular units. Again, that's a long haul to the septic system, which is located way on the other side of the school. And we know from our addition at the Hood School, between where these rooms would be situated there is considerable ledge. So digging trenches, we ran into that with great cost overruns at the Hood School. We know that this would be a major problem in trying to find some kind of a hookup system for the units. That's why we've worked in the amount of money that we have for this particular option.
We have granted you 1-year extension on the 2-year extension agreement. In the event, again, that the extension or the renovation and addition is the route we go, those will be removed after 1 year
Right.
anyways.
And most likely
Right.
sold.
Okay. Not reused by this town.
Well, any other town board may want to use them, but...
They are the property. We
right,
own them.
We own them.
Well, especially where we have to house some students, if that's the case. I mean, we shouldn't be giving out, reselling space that we need, I wouldn't think. I mean, is that an assumption on my part?
At some point as they age, I think the school committee will need to determine what is the cost advantage of selling and buying new, or simply reusing, refurbishing, and relocating. As you can see, the cost for moving them at this point is estimated at approximately half of buying them new.
And this might not be the popular, I'm just going to throw it out there. Did you look at the scenario adding additions, modules to the site? If in the event that we go to the new school
What site?
situation at the Batchelor site?
No, we did not look
Because-
at the Batchelor because we
And I'm just
asked,
saying, that's not the popular.
we asked that
No.
question last
But I
year
wanna throw it out.
and we were denied, so.
I think we're in a
Not to say-
different situation for the town, and I'm willing to take another look at it. But I want to hear the rest of the overall, but
No, we did not.
in the event that the new
Consider
school
that.
situation comes to fruition,
We did not consider additional modulars at the Batch site since the last discussion we had with you and requested an additional unit on the Batch was denied. So we didn't go there.
Okay.
And that unit is going to go in at the Little Izzard,
It's,
or is it there yet?
It's on
it'll
the
be
way.
there, it's on its way.
Okay,
The footings have been prepared, it's on its way.
okay.
What is the average time that a modular exists? 5 years, 6 years?
There are some in communities that have been there for 20.
I had the opportunity to tour it last week. I had asked I was concerned about the condition, more on the exterior is where our charter lies. And then I believe they have not been painted on the exterior. I don't think so. I think that's what, I was impressed as the exterior has held up as well as it has, without any painting or maintenance other than maybe some cracked windows and, some leakage here and there. And I think they've done a good job maintaining the interior too. Though, again, I'm more, concerned about the exterior. So, I was concerned about, for the next few years that we have to get through this, what they're going to look like.
I got two things. The one that we refused last year, it was told to us that that was not going to be classrooms, that was for, storage was part of it, and an office was for the other part. That was my reasoning for voting no, because our intent is to give the batch an extra 2 classrooms at that time. Isn't that right?
I believe that part of that discussion included if a use of an interior, of a space inside the building was going to be moved into one of those spaces in a new modular classroom, so that a classroom could remain in the building and not in a trailer, whether it was a conference room, whether it was administrative space,
That wasn't
or
put
whether
to
it was a teacher's workroom.
That wasn't put to us.
The last one-year extension.
I have to be honest that the details are a little too far
Yeah.
back for me to remember exactly.
And I don't remember
I do
specifically
remember
the
this
conversation.
discussion. I do
That space
specifically
being-
remember the discussion of questions about what it was exactly going to be used for. I honestly don't
I
remember
don't
which way it
recall
went.
specifically what it was.
I'll tell you, think of it this way. Think of it this way. If you're familiar with the Batchelder School, when you walk in the main entrance off of Peabody Street, and I'm the secretary or I'm the principal, I do not know that you have come into that building unless I happen to be gazing out a very small window. So we are concerned about the safety and access to that building. The plan was to take a classroom, one of the two classrooms on the main floor, either to the left or the right, and to open that up either into the principal's office or, and I really don't want to call it an office, but into the principal's space or the secretary's space, and use one of what is now a classroom reconfigured to be the office, and to cut windows into that corridor that has a slight ramp to it, so that we could see people coming and going in that facility. However, in order to do that, it would take one of the classrooms. Then in turn, where would we put that classroom? We would put that classroom in one of the modulars. So one might draw the conclusion that the purpose of the modular was for office space. It was not going to be used to house the principal or to house the secretary, but it was going to be used to house a classroom that would have been displaced, just as the library has been displaced and is now used as a classroom.
But it wasn't-
That was what was explained very clearly in the plan last year.
I think, well, time out.
Okay.
Time out. I don't think, regardless of the, number one, I don't think anyone at this table has all their notes in front.
No,
Both of you, just a second. I don't think anyone in this room right now has all of our notes from that meeting. And one of the things that's very unfortunate of the way this town has been operating for the last several years is reanalysis and recrimination on everything. I respectfully say to what both of you said, we're here today. That decision was made. I'm not sure rehashing it really gives us anything. What was your other point, please, Joe? You said you had two.
yeah, that as far as maintenance, were they having problems with those modulars? And I say any modulars, there ought to be a separate budget, maintenance budget for the modulars themselves, if this is the kind of problems you're running into. So that when maintenance comes up, it gets done.
I don't disagree, but I don't think that's really our domain.
No, that's not a...
You know, that's certainly how they run the school department.
That's not my part.
Would you- Actually, Ellen wanted to say
Yeah,
something.
I understand this is not the optimal solution, but if it were, I just have a question. Would the modular units afford you enough space for operation of the K rooms? I know they're fairly small, and the K rooms are normally, in a 1,100 to 1,200 foot range because of the need for more space for small children. And it's just a question. Or would you have to add on to make the size?
One of the assumptions that's
for that?
in here that I didn't actually cover and should have earlier was that this actually assumes, because $600,000 is a lot, what we were trying to do is come up with a solution that financially was as reasonable as it could be if we had to deal with this scenario. Is this actually assumes that we lose 2 specialty classrooms at the hood. So either the art, the music room, the resource room, 2 of those kinds of rooms would be gone and used as grade classrooms. And then those grade classrooms could be used as kindergarten rooms. So the math works here. And so the kindergarten would probably be sort of centralized. Most of it would be in the modulars. In fact, the intent would be that all of it would be there. But there's a chance that 1 or 2 classrooms might have to be in the main building.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know the modular classrooms are fairly tight.
Modular classrooms are approximately 900 square feet per classroom.
The
And it
existing?
would, yes, they're about 1,800 square feet for the entire trailer. 2 classrooms at 900 square feet would certainly not be